Hello and welcome back to another episode of Briggs and Co, where we are leaving average for Joe. I have decided to come on here and share a little bit of my recent curiosities, interests, pastimes, books, documentaries, and films. Random bits of my life that I just feel compelled to share. Um, with all of that said, thank you to everyone for your continued support, for sharing the podcast. It's the only way that I can continue to grow this darn thing. I really think the people that I have been bringing on just can share so much of their experiences in the various industries that I am sort of interested in learning more about, i.e., TV film slash entertainment, um, entrepreneurship and sports is what I want to also bring on in 2025. So some of the guests will be more catered towards the business, entrepreneurial, as well as the sports side of things. So I'm super stoked about that. But without further ado, today's episode, honestly, it's just going to be lighthearted. No real path or scheduled plan, so bear with me if I go off the beaten path, so unlike me. Um, I want to start off with some of the books that I've been reading, because I've been finding that at night I put the screens away and pick up books, and more specifically, books as in the actual pages, as the physical book. Um, Even though I love my Kindle, it's great for travel and convenience. I do just find like some non-screen time is so valuable when you're trying to wind down. I was listening to somebody talk about how we like prime our environment depending on the activity or the thing that we're about to do. So like priming your body and your mind before bed. I do that by like dimming the lights and like romanticizing, sleep time, if you will, by opening up my physical book and reading a few pages and just lullabying myself to sleep. And I do that if I were to approach school or if I were to approach, you know, the business or whatever it is. I sort of prep the environment, get myself ready to be in that mindset. Oh, look, shiny object. I already got distracted. Getting back on topic, I have been reading currently Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. Shout out Dad. Bless him. He gifted all of the kids this year with a copy of the book, and I know this will be something that I continue to read throughout my entire life, but I'm already about quarter to halfway through, so yeah, super grateful for that one. If you haven't already, definitely look into getting a copy for yourself because it is really it just it's an outstanding piece of literature, and I think it says enough to say it's been around for centuries. Um, so with that, the last book I read was a nonfiction, which sorry, the last book I read was fiction. I always get those two confused. Um, which is unlike me, but I have been dabbling in that world of fiction thanks to my girlfriend Josephine, shout out, for inviting me onto the book club. I'm there. I know I'm not always attending the meetings, but I am there in spirit and also by reading. I really enjoyed Karen Slaughter's Pretty Girls book. It was quite gory though, so if that's not sort of the gory mystery thriller type reader or book interests for you, then maybe not the one. But it had me captivated. And then before that, I read Guns, Germs, and Steel, which was a effing textbook in my mind. Grateful I read it. It was very eye-opening. But if I were to compare it to, I guess, a book in that same sort of genre, I would read Sapiens 5 times over. Loved Sapiens. Guns, Germs, and Steel I'll have to read again. It's just read to me like a textbook, which is unfortunate, because I know that the content in there is so valuable. Um, but with all that, if you have recommendations for me, I am so open to different genres. Um, One that was just recommended to me today actually was Ready Player One. Um, so maybe after meditations, that is one that I'll pick up. Yeah, I'm like bouncing here, there, and everywhere between genres, both fiction and nonfiction. So share some of your recos with me if you have any. Um, Transitioning to music, I've been so obsessed with what music can do for your sort of focus and mindset, depending on the activity you want to take on. So, I guess in general, I am a huge classical music listener. So, from the moment I wake up to like literally the second I get to bed, I probably listen to a good like 4 or 5 hours of classical music in my day. I run to classical music. I train like strength training to classical music. I write essays to classical music. I go on walks to classical music. But then within that, if I need to mix it up, I find just like a high frequency, like a steady BPM, like I would say maybe a 90 BPM, uh, sort of just like a techno playlist, something that I don't know the lyrics to, but you can still tell it's a bop because I find I don't get distracted. So if I'm trying to just like stay in this like sort of zen like state or this deep thought or deep thinking state, I'll just play a continuous BPM. Um, so those two sort of musical genres are two that I've been obsessed with as of late, and I feel like that's just going to be continuous for the rest of my life. Um, but also I ran the other weekend just 2.5 hours of a steady Chris Stapleton playlist. So just out of the blue, it was morning I woke up and went for my run and just went, yeah, Chris Stapleton it is today. Um, so if I'm not classical or techno, it's Chris Stapleton. Anyways, the other thing that I wanted to mention was my random hobbies that I have been consistently in love with, but inconsistent with practicing due to my environment and the activities I do in terms of my job. So, like right now in Miami, I don't really have access to a climbing gym that's close or a jiu-jitsu gym that I feel like I want to attend to. But if I were to be back home, I love jiu-jitsu, climbing for the same reasons why I love like yoga or why some people love drawing or coloring. I find that it's the easiest way for me to shut off my brain. You're almost forced to find patterns, silence the noise, that internal communication that you have. Um, and you're forced to actually stick to pattern recognition um, without sounding too dry. I If you haven't gone climbing, just try it. Like it can be, you don't have to be a pro. Climbing gyms are relatively welcoming and actually super stoked to invite new people to the community. Um, but it's so fun because you find new paths and different ways of approaching like routes on the wall. And so for me at least, that's why I love that. It's not really so much the physical component of it, rather than it's actually like mindset that it gets me in. And then with jujitsu, I mean, you're forced to work with another human in the sense that you're trying to again recognize patterns and there's almost like an immediate backlash to failure of pattern recognition or failure to remember um the exercise or whatever it is, because you'll get placed in a lock, or you'll get uh I I just feel like jujitsu in a way has my mind turning even post class for like hours, which yeah, I just love that sort of stuff. Um, I don't even know if that made sense. And then also as of late, I have just considered myself to be a baker for absolutely no reason at all, because Channing, my sister, if you're listening, you know that that's dangerous. Um, because I know that baking requires measurements, it requires exact amounts, and I am very much an eyeballer. I am a type B, not a type A. Little of this, dash of that, a crap ton of this, and I just see what comes out the oven. Devin, I apologize. You get the shitty end of the stick on that because you're usually the one that tests. Um, but anyways, as of late, I have been making, at least tried to make, crackers. They were okay. I'd give them a 5.5 out of 10. Would they be more of like a stale piece of bread? Yeah. Did I follow a recipe? No. Um, I've been making a lot of things out of oats purely because I bought a Kirkland size oats bag, and it's quite honestly insulting, the size of this bag. So I have tried to just continuously chip away at the quantity, but I've seen no progress in how many oats are in this damn bag. With that, I've been getting better at oat bakes. Pretty much it's just a cup of oats, scoop of protein powder, and a little bit of Kodiak pancake mix, and some mixed frozen berries. Is it for taste? I mean, that's a bonus. Would it be for the protein and carbohydrates because I'm running longer? Yes. I think check and check on the protein and carbohydrates. Taste wise, it's a quick plug in the nostril. That's all I'm saying. Does it do the job? It absolutely does. Is it chipping away at the Kirkland bag? I'm sure it is. Is it noticeable? No. Right, moving on. Baking, check. Hobbies, check. Books, check. Netflix slash video recommendations. I What did I watch the other day? Oh, I was watching it over Christmas with Devin and we couldn't finish it. And then I came back to Miami and I finished it myself. But it's The Woman, oh heavens, it's on Netflix. It's about a girl that moved to LA to try and get booked, and there was a serial killer for years kidnapping women and killing them, and women of the hour, or no, anyways, if you're listening, you probably know what I'm talking about. It's a good one. If you've seen it on Netflix and you've scrolled by it, take a chance. Take a chance. It's insightful, and actually it is very eye-opening, because I think although it's Hollywoodized and sort of, there's a lot of extra components to it, there is also a lot, and it's based on a true story, obviously, shockingly um, true moments to it as well, in terms of the character in it, the main character, and how she is subject to sort of that, I guess, Hollywood rawness and I'm trying to find the right words, but they fully escaped me. There's a scene pretty much where casting directors are just eating her alive, like they are ripping her apart. And that one scene is so true. I've experienced it, and I know so many in the industry have as well. Anyways, it's worth the 2.5-ish hours. Do. There was one other thing that I wanted to mention. Um, I am looking forward to, this was another big thing for me. 2025 for me, normally I'm like, these are the goals, here's the steps to get the goals. Check, check, check. Here are the milestones. I am so much that. I mean, I have a podcast called Leave Average for Joe. Yes, that is still going to be a huge component of this year. I still have goals-ish that I want to check off. But one of those big goals is silly fun, like recreational activities, use of time that doesn't always have to make sense, more family, more friends time, more backcountry exploration, local or out of province travel, silly like pranks and innocent fun. I'm just excited to bring that into this next year. I think there's so much value in that. The world is far too serious. I think for the right reasons in certain areas of our lives. On a personal side, I'm trying to eliminate the seriousness as much as I can in the next year. Um, because it's just as I age, I realize what's important and what's not. What's not. What needs to be taken serious and what doesn't. What probably matters and what might not matter later on. So as I age and start to understand that better, I am ready. I'm open. I am freeing up my schedule for more silly fun. I'm saying this publicly now. It's on the record. Um, so if anyone catches me fooling, remind me. And then other than that, I'm actually so stoked to bring on some new guests in different industries, like I said, business and sports. People that boggle my mind with some of the things that they're tackling and have tackled. Um, and if there's anyone that you want me to bring on, send them my way. I will reach out and make it happen. Thank you again for the support for a wicked year of podcasting, and I am simply stoked for the next year ahead. I hope all of you had a wonderful holiday season, and you have some things that you're looking forward to this next year. If there's anything that I can do in terms of offering support, advice, recommendation, within my network, let me know, reach out to me. Send me an email, probably is the best, admin@briggsandco.ca. Otherwise, you can also send me a message directly on Instagram. It's Briggs _and_and_co_. I think I just butchered that, but you'll be able to find me because, to your surprise, not many people are called Briggs in this world. Um, But anyways, so much love and respect to you all. Hug your loved ones extra tight. And take care of yourselves. All right. Ciao for now.